senior management is required to change things, and whether it's a privatization or it's by the government, because of the high tax, people are leaving here and going back to the Middle East where they have no tax at all. So how do you deal with that? The talented people won't leave the country and they stay here because of their high crime rate and all this stuff.
Pension situation, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So for those that are not familiar, doctors have incredibly generous pensions by most other people's standards, and at a time of high inflation, their pensions go up a lot, which is something that lots of people don't benefit from, but then they get taxed on that, which is completely reasonable. But because that pension is in an account that they don't get for many years, they have to pay the tax now, they end up working more and having a bit less cash in their pocket, right? Which feels obviously unfair, but it's because they're building up this pension asset in the long term. So it's economically fine, but obviously doesn't feel great. So, and that is potentially causing some doctors to work less than they otherwise might be. That's what the BMA would say. Now, look, I'm happy to look at that issue, sir, and it's probably best you don't film that and send that to the BMA, but if that's what you're doing. But in any case,
Thank you.
I'm happy to look at it. I think it's not a straightforward thing to just solve like that, actually, because these are very generous pensions by most people's standards. If there's a way to do things more flexibly, so people can take their pay in a mix of pension and cash, that might be a way to solve the problem. I looked at that in the past, and I'd happily look at that again. But the way we're going to solve the NHS problems is by doing all the things that we discussed previously, right? It's by making sure the NHS is managed well, that it's run efficiently, that we tackle these missed appointments, that we create these surgical hubs that are more effective. Like, those are all the things that we need to be tough on, right? And the BMA, I'm sure, will not agree with lots of them, because as a union, they tend to not like many things that we do. But we put the money in, and none of us, especially me, should take any lectures to say, oh, you don't care about the NHS. I did something politically very different to getting some more money in. So I am absolutely going to take the moral high ground and say the money has gone in, now the reform needs to come out. That's what you deserve, that's what the country deserves, and that's what I'm going to deliver. Thank you very much.